Today, our viewer has asked, or has said, you've talked about eggs being bad for our health, but could you speak to the detrimental effects to the chickens?
Oh my. Many of us who are in the plant-based world decry the atrocious abuse of animals that are caught up in our factory farm system. And hundreds of millions, billions of animals literally are confined in these wretched conditions and exploited in various ways as an egg laying. And eventually all have their throat cut. Well, of those billions of animals in America's and in the world's factory farming system, by far, the animal that in the greatest numbers and therefore who endures the greatest suffering are chickens and turkeys, but mostly chickens because of the egg laying phenomena as well as broiler hens and all of that. And first of all, a word for the chicken. I love chickens as animals. When I was a kid on my uncle's farm every summer, I would love hanging out with the chickens. I would sit down where the flock of chickens were out in the barn there, and they would come right over and they'd hop up on my lap. And you could pet them, and they would love it. They would respond. When I remember Lumpy had a bit of a tumor in his neck, and she would always come by. She was so affectionate, and she clearly recognized me. And the studies clearly show that they're intelligent creatures, and they have very loving habits toward each other and towards humans. So they're real creatures in there. There's someone behind those eyes, and they feel pain, they feel distress, and how we distress them, and the dreadful life that a layer hen has to endure. First of all, if they are unfortunate enough to be born in a male chick's body, they suffer a horrible death with a day or two of hatching. In the factory farm installation where they're looking for layer hens, you have chicken sexers that spend all day sexing chickens. They turn the chicken over and see if it's a male or female. If it's a female, okay, she'll become a layer hen. If it's a male, too bad. They'll never lay eggs. They put them on the conveyor belt and goes down the chute where a grinder just grinds them alive into paste. And what a grisly death! And this is the fate of millions of little chicks every day in the egg laying empire that is America these days. Millions of chickens are ground up alive, all the little male chicks. The females are put into these dreadful battery hen installations where they are fed a sustenance of grains and growth promoters to increase their egg production. And it's a matter of them, they can't move, they can't turn around, they can barely stand up and sit down. There's so little room in the cage. And they just pump out egg after egg until their egg production falls off, and anywhere between 12 to 36 months, about as long as they live, and they wind up having their throat cut, and they're ground up into fertilizer, basically, or pet food. And so this is the short, dismal, exploitative life of chickens caught up in the egg-laying industry. And for living sentient creatures, it's an abomination. I don't know any other word for it. And if you want to educate yourself about this important issue, because it's not trivial, the suffering of these animals is not nothing. If you want to educate yourself, I urge you, go to the website of United Poultry Concerns, UPC.com, or it might be .org, but go to Google United Poultry Concerns. And the organizer, Karen Davis, has put together a very, very powerful website. Educate yourself on this issue because it's part of the many transgressions that we humans are going to have to answer for on some level. It's just dreadful what we're doing to these very sensitive and loving creatures, actually. So when you order 2 eggs over easy, or scrambled eggs, or you see eggs as part of the ingredients, know the suffering that is inherent in every one of those eggs and the cruelty involved in them. And nowadays it's useless. I have no connection with the company, but there's now a product called Just Eggs, and it's basically pea protein and a few other ingredients. And it comes in a plastic bottle. You open it up, pour it into a hot skillet, and it turns basically into an omelet, a nice bright yellow omelet right in the skillet there. And so you get all the joy and the taste out of what used to pass for scrambled eggs, but there's no animal suffering involved. So if you really got to have your omelet, got to have your scrambled eggs, look in the supermarket shelves now. I think it's in the dairy case called Just Eggs, and you can reunite with that experience you had when you were a kid eating scrambled eggs. You can do that now with a clear conscience that no beautiful bird is trapped in that dismal, exploitative, cruel system. So it's time to liberate the chickens by stop eating the eggs. Hi, everyone. Dr. Michael Klaper here, announcing our new format for our Q&A with Dr. K. Annie Hagen will be asking me one question that's been sent in by our viewers. So if you want to see if your question is getting answered, do join us for our Q&A with Dr. K right here. Hope to see you then.